All right, shalom, 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 brothers and sisters. It's your brother, Priest Kazakia. Now, I generally don't do videos like this because I'm more of a Bible teacher. But this particular story is very dear to my heart because being a musician myself and knowing the direction that I wanted to go, that I actually was striving at one point in time in my life, and the doors was closed in my face, and I'm glad they were closed because in that industry there are a lot of flags, things, dark secrets, and hidden things that anybody who is a believer, who is a follower of the code of ethics of the Most High's word shouldn't be in those places. Now, I'm not going to make this a Bible class, but I want to set a precedent, and I'm going to actually play her video where she actually spoke about the dark agenda. So Psalms 1 says, "Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stand in the way of sinners, nor sit in the seat of the scornful," right? "But his delight is in the law of Yah, and in his law doth he meditate day and night," right? So now my point in saying that is, when you are a servant of the Most High, and we're going to read some of her story in this quick presentation. We're going to play some of her stuff. I'm going to interject in between. And we don't belong in certain places, right? Let me just share one more thing with you. Okay, listen in.
It has been one heck.
She's going to say some things, and I'm going to pause. Now, I'll leave you the link to the Instagram page in the description, but I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'm going to play some pieces of what she said so that I can add commentary to my personal experience with the music industry, as well as what she's saying. I can confirm some things, or I can acknowledge some things that I know that stopped me from going into that industry. Okay, let's rotate.
Of a ride this last month. The enemy was trying to take me out. He was really trying to take me out. And
so listen close. She said the enemy was trying to take her out. A lot of people feel as though there is a hidden agenda somewhere, especially if you're in the industry or if you're connected some type of way into the political structure, right? People feel like that they're being monitored and so forth like that. And I don't know. I mean, things seem to be strange, especially when you're in a particular arena of spiritual warfare. Okay, let's go back in.
Okay, I'm gonna wait till we get those 50, 60. We had 51. Let me see, can I get 70 to 100 people in the room right now before I reveal?
Okay, I'm gonna pause her right there. She's waiting for people to come in. Okay, so let me just say this while she's waiting for the people to come in, that my dad was a pastor, and he wouldn't let me. I've had people like B.B. King in that circle wanted me to play. There was a couple secular artists when I was a kid that asked my dad if they could have me to play for them. My dad said, "Oh, no, sir." And my dad protected me, right? Okay, so I'm going to try to cut in now and see what she is saying.
My show. Whew. but God. I'm trying to keep from crying because the devil was very, very, very particular in targeting me. But anyway, I was rushed to the hospital.
So she says that the devil was particular in targeting her. So the first thing comes to my mind is when you say the devil's targeting you, you have to stop and say, why do I feel the devil is targeting me? Okay. That's the thing. If you are a spiritual person, if you feel like the enemy's targeting you, there's a reason why he's targeting you. Okay. All right, let's continue.
Because I wasn't breathing so well.
Okay.
Came to find out, I had what was a bacterial blood infection that I had gotten when they stuck me with the needle. It had went into my bloodstream and caused a staph infection of the blood.
That's interesting. I'm not going to speak on that because that's what she is alleging, that the blood infection came from the needle. But let's continue.
Now, I didn't have a clue that there was a blood infection until they rushed me into ICU. I went into ICU and I went to use the restroom and I passed out in the restroom. My oxygen went all the way down and rendered me basically unconscious.
Now, I'm going to read an article a little later on, but where she out of her mouth for it, but she was dealing with sugar diabetes. She was an advocate for sugar diabetes, right? So I don't know if that's related to that or not. She's saying that she got an infection from the needle. I'm not sure if that's what it was, but that's what she is alleging that happened. Let's continue.
When I came back to, the nurses began to tell me that I was screaming for Jesus because when I went down.
Now, let me just say this here too. I'm not a doctor and I wasn't there, but I do know that sometimes people do go into diabetic comas and stuff like that. So I know my sister, she said she had experience like that. So it could have been that. I'm not sure, but this is what she's saying. So sometimes we have to be very careful what we say because we attribute things to the enemy when sometimes things are brought on ourselves by what we're intaking in our bodies. Because see, if we're not adhering to the laws of the Most High as far as to what He tells us to put in our bodies, you're bringing all kinds of toxins into your body. So what we think might be brought on by a needle or whatever the case might be, and I'm not saying she's lying, but what I'm saying is that some things are brought on by what we take into our bodies, right? Okay, let's continue.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that, I didn't know what was happening. All I know is it was all of a sudden. And I began to praise God and call on His name because I knew biblically that if I was transitioning, I needed to be calling on Jesus. And I need to be calling Him by His name. So I began to scream His name. When they brought me to is when they told me I was lucky to be alive because I was on the floor. And sorry. I knew it was an attack. I knew it was a spiritual attack on me. However, I was treated and God healed me. He cleared up. After 2 weeks, solid, they cleared up the blood infection.
Okay, hold for a second. Okay, so as y'all know, I'm a researcher, so when people say things, I like to pull up some information. So real quick, we'll look at this. It says, I asked the question, what causes blood infections in a woman? And this came up. It says, a blood infection, also known as sepsis, can be caused by a variety of infections, including bacterial, viral, fungal, and parasitic infections. Right? Infections can start in many parts of the body, including the lungs, urinary tract, and the abdomen. Right? Now, if you look down here, it says something about the three germs that most often develop into sepsis are what is it? Staphylococcus, Escherichia, and some types of streptococcus, whatever that is, right? I'm not a doctor, so this terminology goes over my head. So I think I read somewhere down about E. coli. Was it E. coli? I saw E. coli somewhere. Okay, but anyway, the thing that sticks out with me is this one about the parasitic infections, right? Okay, now we look at the dietary law, or as we call it, a friend of mine, Moray Josiah, says sanctified diet, right? We look at that as bondage when clean and unclean foods is given to us for our protection, right? So a lot of foods are contaminated, right? So here's the E. coli right here. This I saw it's right here. It's E. coli. Okay, it actually was one of the words that I couldn't pronounce, right? All right, so that's it right there. Escherichia. Okay, E. coli or E. coli, right? So that's possible what happened. Now, I don't know what she ate. You know, she's diabetic, so all of that plays a part into what happened. But we have to be very careful when we say that somebody stuck me with a needle, because that would be a malpractice suit. If they injected you with something to make you sick, if that could be proven, you could have got paid right there on the spot, right? So we want to be careful what we eat, right? Because don't make it a religious thing, make it a health thing. Because if you're eating foods that are parasitic, right, as gourmet food, expect things to happen with your blood, okay? And that's the truth. Okay, now let's go back into the video here.
I'm just here to let you know. The only reason I hadn't been on my live and just getting with y'all on this, because I had to get postured with God one-on-one. Sometimes God will make you stand still when you're doing the most you can for everyone. He will stand you still so that your complete focus can be on him. God he knew that I was about to come.
I want to interject here. Another thing I want to point out is that sometimes this is where we as humanity we are become in error, is because a lot of things that happen in our life is a result of choice, right? So it's easy to blame the devil. And it being raised in a Pentecostal church, we always blame the devil, or, you know, God will make you serve him. No, he won't. Right? When things happen, we have to look at our choice, because everything is a result of our choice. If you don't have a job and you're about to lose your home, you made a choice not to go to work, right? Okay. You slipped and fell down. Why did you slip and fall down? You was in a hurry. Why was you in a hurry? You was running late, right? Everything is about choices we make. We face those choices, right? We have to make better choices in life. And then if things goes wrong when you make the right choices, then you could start pointing the finger at the enemy. But if you're not doing everything right according to the instruction, the manual for life, then you can expect things to happen in your life, right? Okay, let's go back.
Into some things. And as I began to come back to myself completely, I remembered everything that I was working on. I remember the people that were in my immediate circle that were supposed to be there to help me. By the time it was all said and done, the Christmas song had been snatched down. For what reason? I wasn't in a position to really fight that. I had to fight to live. So I couldn't worry about that.
I'm not going to get into that. But Christmas is pagan. It has nothing to do with the Messiah's birthday, all of that. But let's continue.
Because I knew that it would take care of itself, but not without the devil trying to blame me for the mishap. Lo and behold, I won't call any names, but people quit on me because they thought it was me. Like I said, I can't call any names because I'm not that vicious. I don't want to hurt anybody. And I really don't want it to be their downfall. But I will tell you, people left me in that dark, dark moment when I really needed support. My kids were there for me. My true friends were there for me because they knew this is serious.
So people will leave you when you're sick. That's true. You'll find out who your friends are when you get sick. That's the truth, right? As long as you're that cash cow, people can come and know you're going to spend for them and spend on them. They're right there. But when you get sick and down, that's when you find out who your true friends are. Amen to that. Go ahead, sister.
They thought that blood infection would have damaged my heart. So I went into a lot of testing to make sure there was not heart scarring. Lo and behold, all of that came out fine. I was not scarred by the heart, thank God. But the staph infection was supposed to scar the heart and the lungs. And
now I will say this about the food. Now I'm thinking this is what I'm thinking. I'm seeing, right? It possibly. That's why I'm going the route I'm going, because it possibly could have been something that she ate. Now, the possibility could be somebody could have put something in her food. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where she went and where she ate and all of that, but anything is possible. But it sounds like to me it was something in her food. Okay, but let's continue.
Cleared up. Thank God. So I just wanted to be transparent with you all because I don't always have it all the way together. But I'm a hard worker. You know, I play hardball, but I love twice as hard. And because I do love my fans, and especially shout out to Raheem Devon, who got on the stage in Detroit that night in my place, and he had the entire.
Now, I don't want to put you through the whole video, so I'm going to skip through some of this. Pardon me, I'm going to skip through some of this. Okay, now, I think right here is where she's going to go and talk about the part that I want to add some commentary on. Let's continue.
That one of the biggest companies that I was with, Universal Music. Okay. It's the second part of the ugly truth. We began to research things to check on my royalties and my statements and things that of that nature, only to find out a lot of my publishing, a lot of my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen. As I begin to find out things that I never had to look into, because when you hire a team of people that to some degree supposed to have your back, you're thinking that they're getting it all together for you. You know, that's why, you know, I respect Oprah Winfrey in that respect when she said, do your own research.
Okay, so her microphone went out. But let me just say this here before I go back into the video. And this is to all upcoming musicians, right? Okay. We all want to be successful, but you don't want to play in the enemy's playground, right? When I was coming up and I was trying to get exposed to the music industry, and I know that circle, right? Grandmaster Flash, Robbie Rob, way back, Curtis Blow and all of that circle. I had a guy who was a producer. He was trying to get me into that. And they was telling me about all these retreats that they go to and all the stuff that they do at these retreats. All the women there and all the S word that you want, you can get it there. I mean, I told the brother, I said, brother, I don't want no parts of that. That's an arena I don't want to be involved with. And he was trying to convince me, you know, you talented brother, and we can use your talent and this, that, and the other. Just, you know, just kind of wink your eye when you see certain things. I'm like, oh no, I am not going to wink my eye, brother. Look, I'm not trying to get caught up into no Hugh Hefner's Plato's retreat and all that kind of stuff that was going on back in the mid 80s and stuff like that. That all of that industry, all that was connected to cocaine and everything. Right back then, it was the cocaine. Right then, they went to the crack epidemic later on, heroin and stuff like that. Right, I got into some stuff. Took one puff of that, and it made me skits, and I said, "Oh no, that's it for me." I said, "I'm gonna stay in the church, brother. I'm gonna stay in the church arena. Look, at least I know it's safe in the church, right? I can still be a church playboy, but it's clean, right? In some circles, all right. So, and the other thing is that, what's wrong with you producing your own stuff? Why do you have to go to that industry, to the people that's in the hierarchical structure who you know are influenced by spirits, to make you a cash cow for them and to give you a piece of a contract? That's one of the worst things you want to do, is sign a contract. That's the sacrifice. When you sign that contract and you say, I'm going to be a musician and I'm going to go to this extreme, and then you have people that once they get in that industry and they realize, whoa, man, I done got deep in this thing, man. How do I get out of this circle? How do I get out of this system that's filled with perversion, that's filled with demonic influence and demonic activity? You love the money. The love of money is the root of all evil. But you can't get out of it because you're stuck. Because why? You got comfortable with a certain lifestyle. And then you begin to just kind of desensitize things. You begin to say, you know what? This don't bother me. You know, the money's good. You know, I know that's happening, but this, even in the church, a lot of pastors have fell into that, right? They know certain things are not right, but they allow themselves to put a blind eye to certain things because the money was good, right? So what's wrong with a musician producing your own, right? Publishing your own stuff, right? It takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day, as the saying goes. If you take time, you write your music, you have your own studio, you produce your own website, you're contract free. Don't let the devil get you to sign no contract because I promise you a couple millions of dollars, or I promise you $300 million if you sign this contract with me. That's the death wish. And that's the trap that the enemy set, right? The love of money is the root to all evil. All right. Now let's try to go back in here to the video.
I worked very hard to take care of my kids as a single mother. And I'm being transparent. My kids' fathers just were not doing what they're supposed to do. So I had to step up and go in and do everything that I needed to do for my family, which is why I worked so hard, which is why I traveled so much, which is why I did shows, because at the end of the day, after 40-something years in the business, I'm like, well, why? Where are my royalties going? Because I'm not getting this. Come to find out, Universal Music has been receiving all my royalties.
Now, she said something that was very powerful, right? Okay, now, that's another trap, right? I'm going to read some of her story. Matter of fact, let's do this here. Let's go to Wikipedia. And at this point, let's read some of her story. What I want to do is I want to go down here and read her. Let me read this part right here. It says her early life, right? This is an article on Wikipedia on Angie Stone, right? Born 1961. So she's 3 years 3 years older. She was 3 years older than me. Would have been 3 years older than me, right? Now, this part right here is what stuck out in my head, right? It says she was born in Columbia, South Carolina, where she began singing gospel music. See, right? That was a good start, right? That's how I started, gospel music, right? She started out right. Okay, watch this now. She performed, where was I here? Okay. She began singing gospel music at First Nazareth Baptist Church under the leadership of Reverend Blakely Scott. Her father, a member of the local gospel quartet, so his father was singing gospel music, took Stone to see performances by gospel artists such as the Singing Angels and the Gospel Keynotes, right? Okay. So now, I don't know if the father advised against her getting in the R&B industry. He probably did. Sometimes we make a decision to go against our parents because we feel like that, oh, they don't know what's best for me. You know, this is an opportunity for me to become successful, become recognized, become famous. I felt that way. I wanted to get out of the gospel music arena. I'm the baddest keyboard in the land. I could play anything I hear. I could have been filthy rich right now if I played into that industry. Not that I didn't have the opportunity. I had plenty of opportunities to do it. But because I chose not to get into that environment, to go into that industry, right? So sometimes you may struggle in life because you don't make that decision to be a part of that. But all that's a part of it. You make a decision to be in an industry where you know all kinds of wicked stuff goes on. You might live comfortable financially, but you got all kinds of principalities around you, right? You got all kinds of attacks, right? So her father, my question is, did her father advise her against getting involved into that industry? Or did he give her his approval? I don't know. I mean, if you know the story, leave a comment down at the bottom. Let me know. But the thing of it is that the father is supposed to counsel his children to protect them, right? So I find it odd that her father sung gospel, but she went into the secular industry, right? My dad was a musician. I come from a musical family, and he knew what that industry had to offer. He told me, son, you don't need to be involved in that, because they involved in a whole lot of satanic stuff in that circle, in that industry, in that arena. And because of him saying that, that's my other question, did she get a confirmation before she got involved in the industry that that's what it was about? And so I can deal with that because it's going to make my life better for my children. Because see, the enemy set a trap. You have children, right? Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go down here and find out, why does she have children and why the father? That's the other piece, right? These fathers, when you don't know how to be a father because maybe your father wasn't in your life or he wasn't a good example of what a father is, you end up following the same footsteps. Now, this is not a shot at her husband or her ex-husband. I don't know his personal life, but I can't see why a man wouldn't support his children, even if he's not with the baby mama. Because if that's my flesh and blood, I'm going to support you, right? Unless I don't have a job and I'm incapacitated and I can't provide any finances, I don't see any reason why a man shouldn't support his children, right? Let me get an explosion on that. Right? So if you are a man and you have children, why aren't you supporting your children? Why are you punishing your wife or your ex-wife or your baby mama? Why are you punishing, I should say, your children because of your baby mama? That's not fair to them, right? So now, to her protection, she had to do what she had to do. But you had to make the right decision. Why go into that industry? Because see, if you're traveling and doing all that, how are the kids getting school? How are they being trained and all that? If you run in the streets, they're raising themselves. That's why we have our society the way it is today, right? Now, let me get back in here. So, I want to go down here where it says personal life. So look in here. It said Stone had 2 children. She had 2 children. Her daughter was Diamond. She was born in 1984. And it's from a marriage to Rodney Stone. That's the husband. That's where the name Stone comes from. Okay. Angie Stone. She married Rodney Stone. I think she was Angie Brown. I think I saw somewhere here Angie Brown, right? Okay. Where she was, Angie Brown. Okay. So she became Angie Stone. Now, here's the thing. So in 1984, so I think she was about 22 when she had Diamond. Okay. Also known as Little Rodney C from hip hop group. Okay. So I'm pretty sure him being in that circle, in that arena in the 80s, that was around the time when I was looking to get into that industry. So it was wicked back then. So I don't know what the ins and outs with that between her and him, and maybe he was a persuasive force to get her in that industry. But you got to see some signs when you get ready to get involved in something. There's always going to be some signs that are going to pop up to let you know, oh, you don't want to go that direction, right? Okay. So she contributed background vocals to Stone's 2007 song. Diamond gave birth to Stone's grandson in 2008 and another grandchild. Now, here's my question. It says she has 2 children, but they only mention the daughter. Okay. Why are they not mentioning the son? And Stone was diagnosed with, okay, here we go, right here. During the 1990s, Stone was in relationship with Neo Soul D'Angelo, right? Okay. So yeah, so she was in that industry. So the things that goes on in that circle, you had to desensitize yourself to that to stay in there, right? Unless you sign a contract. Okay. If you sign that contract, then that's a death wish. You can't get out of that. Okay. Now, so it says that Stone lived in Atlanta with her son. Okay, here's her son, Michael, and her daughter, Diamond. Okay, Michael. Okay. It was reported that she was arrested for assaulting her 30-year-old daughter. I wonder what that about. What kind of relationship did she have with her dad and her mother? That kind of is a question that I have. If you know anything about that, say something about that. Because see, your family relationships are going to impact your personality. Right? Let me say that again. Your family relationships are going to impact your attitude, your personality. Okay, now, so here's the part I was talking about. It says in 1999, Stone was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and along with comedian actor Anthony Anderson, was part of the Face Diabetes Fearless African American Connected and Empowered program sponsored by Lilly Company, which helps African Americans understand the risk of diabetes to control it. Stone said that both her mother and her father's sister were diabetic. Both her mother and her mother's sister were diabetic. Okay. She was honorary member of Zeta Phi Beta. So, man, there's a lot here. I'm sorry, it wasn't on the screen, But it's a lot here. So, whew, man. She had type 2 diabetes. And let me say this too. As quiet as it's kept, if you do some research, you find out that type 2 diabetes is connected to bacteria. It is. Could that have been the bacteria that got in her blood? Sugar diabetes in the blood. So that could have been what happened. She's blaming the doctor's needle, but hey, she had type 2 diabetes. Okay. I'm not saying that there are not wicked people that would put something in you. I'm not saying that. But here we're seeing clearly that she had type 2 diabetes, right? And that will impact a lot your health, right? Right. So then the other piece says she was an honorary Zeta Phi Beta, a secret society in 2024. So I don't know if she pledged or not, but says she was an honorary. I guess if you're honorary, they make you become a part of. So you get the secrets. There are a lot of pastors that are Freemasons and sorority, fraternity members and stuff like that. A lot of women are sorority members, right? And they don't see anything wrong with that, right? Okay. Look, you're dealing with secret societies, so you're supposed to be a follower of the code of ethics of the Most High. You don't have no part. You don't have no business dealing with no secret society organizations, right? All right, now. So she's basically now it's starting to come home to roost because she knew that she was working with an industry that was all about money. So if they can rob from you, if they can use you, right? That's how most top exec corporations get ahead. They nickel and dime the people that's working for them so they can profit. And that's why it's very important in the music industry, even in Hollywood. You got people coming out like Taraji Henson coming out saying that they're not paying her this, that, and the other. These actors are coming out. Well, you co-signed for that. You already knew what you was getting involved in, right? So why are you crying because they robbing you of your finances? You already knew you was getting into an industry that was robbing people, that was raking people, using you as a cash cow. Okay, now I'm going to go to the accident part and we're going to wrap this video up. Okay, now let's go to another link I have here. All right, so this is the link about the accident, right? Okay, here it says Angie Stone dies at 63 in crash on Interstate 65 in Montgomery County, right? Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter Angie Stone, a trailblazer in R&B and neo-soul, passed away at 63 in a tragic accident early Saturday morning on Interstate 65 in Montgomery County, Alabama. Now, if she was keeping the Shabbat, she wouldn't have been in that truck. See, y'all work on the seventh day. The scriptures tell you the seventh day should be a day of rest. 6 days you shall do your labor, and the seventh is a day of rest. But you flip the scriptures up Sunday, right? All right. Okay, so early Saturday morning in Interstate 65 in Montgomery County, Alabama. Crash occurred around 7 a.m. local time as she traveled from a performance in Mobile towards the CIA basketball tournament in Baltimore, right? Involving a commercial vehicle, which the collision particularly blocked the highway for hours, disrupting traffic in the area. Her manager, Deborah Champagne, confirmed the news to the press, leaving the music world mourning the loss of one of its most distinctive voices. Now, I will say this much, right? I've listened to her music, and she's a good musician. I mean, had some good stuff. But the thing of it is that when you're in that arena, it's a lot of stuff comes with that. All right. You got one of my favorite singers, Chrisette Michelle, right? She's trying to branch off and produce her own stuff. I think she's contract free. I think. Don't quote me though. If I'm incorrect, correct me. Comment down in the comment section. Okay. Born Angela Laverne Brown in South Carolina, Angie Stone built a career spanning over 4 decades. It would be 40 years, right? Starting as a member of the Sequence, one of the first female hip hop choice. Her solo journey highlighted by hits like "Wish I Didn't Miss You" and "No More Rain." Right, I like that song. Okay, in this cloud, cemented her status in the global music scene. The fatal accident took place about 2 miles of Hope Hall, with Alabama law enforcement agency still investigating its cause. So they're investigating the cause of it, right? Stone, who leaves behind a daughter, let me get my seeing-eye glasses on here. Leaves behind a daughter, Diamond, a son, Michael, and 2 grandchildren, touched countless lives with her versatility and cultural impact. The Mobile Area Mardi Gras Association noted that Stone's final performance was at the 2025 Grand Marshal Ball in Mobile, part of the city's Mardi Gras Festival. Right now, y'all not gonna like this. Mardi Gras is not a place for a believer to be. So all these arenas that she was involved in, being a Christian woman that she espoused to be, that's not the place for you to be, right? So you surround yourself by all these influences, right? All this demonic activity, right? How can you be protected when you are in an arena where there's demonic influence and activity? There's no protection there. The scripture says, "He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." So if you're not in the secret place, that means if you're in the dark circles, there's no protection in those dark circles. You left from your protection, from the presence of the Most High. Remember the story, Jonah. The Most High told Jonah to go to Nineveh and cry out against the city. Jonah went from the presence of the Most High. He went to Tarshish. There's no protection away from the presence of the Most High. And I can guarantee you that the presence of the Most High was not in no doggone Mardi Gras. Guarantee you that. 1,000%. Certainly not in this music industry. And they get up and their wars and say, "I give honor to God. God ain't got no part." Well, maybe your God do, but the Elohim of the book don't have no parts in that. Right? All right. So, interesting. She was performed at the Mardi Gras, a part of the city's Mardi Gras festival. After the show, she set off with her team in a van towards Atlanta, but the journey ended abruptly in tragedy. Interstate 65 remained partially closed in both directions until 11 a.m. When ALEA troopers cleared the scene, the violent collision with the commercial vehicle claimed her life. Through further details remain under wraps as the investigation unfolds. Angie Stone, they talk about her career. Angie Stone kicked off her music journey in the late 1970s as part of a sequence alongside of Cheryl Cook and Gwendolyn Chisholm under the Sugar Hill Records. Okay, so that's that circle that I would have been in if I had went that direction, right? The trio dropped Funk You Up, one of the earliest rap tracks by women, later sampled by artists like Dr. Dre. After his initial success, Stone joined the 1990s trio Vertical Hold before embarking on a solo career. Her debut album, Black Diamond, released in 1999, earned gold certification in the U.S. Okay. All right. Let's go down a little further here. Let's look at the crash details. The crash details shake Montgomery County. A fatal accident unfolded on the bustling stretch of Interstate 65, a key Alabama highway. I know about Interstate 65. I think they go straight up to Indiana, I think. Around 7 a.m., the van carrying Stone and her team collided with the commercial vehicle blocking the left, north, and southbound lanes. The impact's severity kept traffic snarled for roughly 4 hours, and the ALEA troopers reopening the road by 11 a.m. Authorities continued to probe the incident through specifics about road conditions or collision and dynamic remain undisclosed. Fresh off her electrifying performance at the Grand Marshal Ball in Mobile, Stone left the Mardi Gras event with nine team members, including musicians and backup singers, headed initially for Atlanta. The Interstate 65, Lincoln, Mobile, and Birmingham and beyond is notoriously for heavy traffic, especially during festive weekends like Carnival. The crash underscores the hazards artists face on long road trips and recurring concern in the music industry. So that's interesting. I'm trying to see. Okay, it says she died, but did anybody else die in that? Let me see. Hold on a second. Okay, so I'm gonna go to another link. This is the Associated Press, right? Release. So let's go to this link here. It's Mobile, or Montgomery, I should say, Alabama Grammy nominated R&B singer Angie Stone, a member of the all-female hip-hop trio Sequence and known for her hit song Wish I Didn't Miss You, was killed early Saturday in a car crash. She was 63. About 4 a.m., the vehicle she was riding in back to Atlanta from Alabama flipped over. Okay. That's a play on words. She was riding in the vehicle. So it doesn't say that she was driving. It says she was riding in the vehicle back to Atlanta from Alabama, because that's where she's from. So that's what it's saying. So it's kind of misleading if you read it. It's because I heard Ringo say that she was in the back. Okay, but Ringo, my good friend, but that doesn't say she was in the back, and it doesn't say she was driving, because I think the other brother, his ex-friend, Newbreed said that she was driving. So it doesn't say she was driving. It doesn't say she was in the back. When you actually read it, it says she was riding in back. The vehicle she was riding in back to Atlanta. That's the phrase. The vehicle she was riding in back to Atlanta from Alabama flipped over and was subsequently hit by a rig. Music producer and Stone's longtime manager, Walter Millsap III, told the Associated Press in an email, right? Now, let's see if they actually say who was driving. Okay, because I can agree with Ringo. I don't believe that she would have been driving. She's the artist. They was her singer. So I would believe that she possibly had a driver, a designated driver that did the driving, because Atlanta from Mobile is not that far. Okay, so it wasn't like you need to share riders, right? Okay, anyway. Everyone else in the cargo van survived except Stone, he said. So who said that? Walter Millsap III said that everybody survived except Stone. Now, I find that odd. That everybody survived but her. That's odd. I sense some foul play there. Okay. Everybody died but her. Everybody survived but her. And she, as you saw the video, she went in and she said she was going after the music company. She named the music company and everything. She said they robbed her and she was going after them, right? To get her stuff, to get her money, right? So I don't know about that. Something seems strange about that. Okay. All right. So everybody in the cargo van survived except Stone. And he said, Alabama Highway Patrol said in the news release that the 2021 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter Let's see. I think I had a picture of it somewhere. Let me see. On this link here. There it is right there. That's the van. That's the Mercedes-Benz van. Looks a little rough right there, don't it? But that's the van. All right, now let's go back in here. So the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van turned over on Interstate 65 about 4:25 a.m. Saturday before being hit by a 2021 Freightliner Cascadia truck driven by a 33-year-old man from Texas. Boy, I tell you, being a retired truck driver, that guy that's driving the truck, he's got to be messed up in his head. He's probably going to hand in his CDL after that. It's something about, if you have an accident, a fatality, that does something to you. I actually didn't have a fatality. It was like somebody ran in the back of the truck, but they survived. They was texting and ran in the back of the trailer, but they survived. And when I found out that this person ran in the back of the truck, my heart dropped. I was like, man, if this person is dead, I'm handing in my CDL. That's a terrible feeling to be a driver. And so that driver, he needs to have prayer for him. 33 years old, he's messed up behind that. But it says that the 33-year-old driver of a 2021 Freightliner Cascadia from Texas. And Angie Stone was pronounced dead, right? At the scene, the Highway Patrol said the crash was about 5 miles south of Montgomery city limits. The Sprinter driver and 7 others in the van were taken to, okay, there we go. The Sprinter driver, so Ringo was right. Ringo TV was right. It says it right there. The Sprinter driver, so she wasn't driving. So, brother New Breed, you wrong on that one. Ringo was right. She wasn't driving. Okay, now. Okay. It says the Sprinter driver and 7 others in the van were taken to the Baptist Medical Center for treatment. Officials continue to investigate the cause. Millsap said he learned the news from Angie Stone's daughter, Diamond, and longtime The Sequence member, Blondie, right? So, there's more to the story. I'm not going to read that. But I'm going to wrap up this video right here. And I will leave the link to the Instagram where you can actually see her whole conversation, because she sensed some foul play. It's suspect that everybody survived but her. So I sense some foul play. I'm not an attorney. I'm not making an allegation. I'm not making an assumption, but I just sensed some foul play there. I'm prayerfully the attorneys will get on it, and whoever, because you deal with some principalities in high places, right? So prayers go out to Angie Stone's son and daughter and the family in the loss of a great music artist, right? So prayers goes out, and prayerfully all will be well. Thanks for viewing this channel. Please join us for our live streams on the Shabbat, which is the 7th day, which is what the world calls Saturday. We do a Bible class where we teach the scriptures. And it's at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Okay. Join us there. And until the next time, we say shalom, shalom, shalom.